So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the fifth webinar of the webinar series Sailing to Lisbon 2024, where we're having these webinars to promote the European Public Health Conference that will take place in Lisbon in November this year. Since last webinar, we've had a record-breaking number of submissions to the conference, so we're above the 3,000 submissions for the conference, and in the next few days all the participants who submitted their abstract proposals will receive feedback on their proposals. So stay tuned, look into your mailbox, because the results from the assessment done by the reviewers will be shared with you over the next few days. As you know, this is a meeting that will take place in Lisbon in November. And therefore, I'm happy to share a short video on one of our distinct cultural items. So the tiles in Lisbon are very, very known worldwide. In fact, if you look back at the conference that took place here in 2008, there was a small gift that was a piece of tile that was given to all participants of the conference back in 2008. So I'll just share with you this very specific aspect of our culture. So just a couple of minutes of the video on the tiles. So as you could see, tiles are all around town in both old buildings, but also very modern ones. So when you're here, do take your time to enjoy the views and also look at the tiles. They also make for very good souvenirs. So whenever you're here, consider taking one home with you. And today is, as I mentioned, the fifth webinar that we're organizing. And considering that we're now in a period which is very relevant in Europe, we're at the doorsteps of the European election that will take place, depending on the countries, between the 6th and the 9th of June this year, so over the next week. So we thought it would be very interesting to invite the different political groups with a seat at the European Parliament to share their view on what they have as relevant for public health in the European area. And therefore, we invited all the political groups that are represented in the European Parliament. So we invited the group of the European People's Party, the Christian Democrats, the group of the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats in the European Parliament, the Renew Europe group, the group of the Greens in European Free Alliance, the European Conservatives and Reformists group, the Identity and Democracy group, and also the Left group in the European Parliament, GUE-NGL. And we were hoping to have the views of the different political parties. We understand that all the parties are now very busy with different elections and campaigning, and therefore we understood it would be hard for them to be present at the conference, at the webinar. But still, we wanted to go ahead with the conference. Unfortunately, we only had a reply from the Left group in the European Parliament that they would be available, but unfortunately not at the present time. So we have a time difference between when they would be available. Also, we did some informal contacts with some of the members of the European Parliament, namely from the Portuguese ones, which were closer to us. But unfortunately, none of them could be available to share their views with us. So this is a sad fact that we're sharing with you now. We had a journalist available for the interviews, and I'll bring her up to the stage now. And Dulce, you're very welcome. Dulce is a journalist in Portugal with an extensive knowledge of health. She's been covering the sector for many years, and we were hopeful she would have a lot of interesting things to ask to the participants. But unfortunately, there are none she can ask questions. But nevertheless, I'd like to give the floor to Dulce so she can also share a few words with you.
Hello, Ricardo, how are you? Well, even without participation of the parliaments, I thought we can have a little talk. And I start to ask you what you expect from this great meeting that will take place in Lisbon in November.
Thank you so much, Dulce, for the question. Yes, indeed, we're very hopeful to have a very interesting meeting here in Lisbon. So, as I mentioned before, we had more than 3,000 submissions for abstracts. Unfortunately, we only have 16 tracks, which means that there are 16 rooms at the same time having sessions, and we have 11 slots of those sessions. So we have a limited number of communications and workshops that can take place. But we're looking forward to reunite with the public health community across Europe and beyond, because we're expecting more than 2,500 participants. And this would be a record for the European Public Health Conference. The number of submissions was already a record. And I'd also like to highlight that prior to the conference, we'll have several pre-conferences. So the program is now, for the pre-conference, is already available on the website, but I'd like to highlight one in particular, which is a long pre-conference because it's a 2 days long pre-conference, and it's the Lusophone Public Health Conference. So taking into account that Portugal has a very significant presence and a big connection with the Portuguese-speaking countries, we thought it would be interesting to get them all together here in Lisbon for Monday and Tuesday on the 11th and 12th of November. So this is also a pre-conference that we're very keen to advertise. And it's also eventually interesting for those that are coming from abroad, though not Portuguese speaking, because we'll have simultaneous translation available. So even if you're not a Portuguese speaker, do consider attending the Portuguese or the Lusophone speaking public health conference, because surely you'll learn about a very diverse community that works in public health across the world. So you're very welcome to come to that as well. So we'll have 5 plenaries. We have 5 sub-themes, which are very interesting. And also the cultural setting of Lisbon is very rich. So we're sure you'll also spend a very full week here in Lisbon if you decide to come. So do consider attending the conference. There's surely something for you in it.
Okay, thank you, Ricardo. But I have just a little question, or not a question, but something like it. It could be a milestone for global or special European public health, this meeting in Lisbon.
Yes, surely. One of the sub-themes of the conference is actually global public health. So we'll grasp the different aspects
Can
that
we
are
can
now.
we can we then, not we, the global, the Portuguese public health, give what to other countries, to European?
Oh, I'm sure that there's a lot of good examples that we can share, and there will be a massive presence of course, of the Portuguese community, as it's common that the hosting country also is very highly represented in the conference. But I mean, there's so much to share,
And
be it
respect it.
from the sector of the communicable disease, from health economics, from genetics, from methods. I mean, there's so many interesting things from digital health. Artificial intelligence is also a big topic. We'll be discussing the commercial aspects and the commercial determinants in health. So I mean, it's so vast, the conference, that I'm sure that anyone can find something interesting to attend when they come to the Lisbon conference. And this is something that surely will be very interesting for all of them.
Okay. Thank you, Ricardo, and thank you all.
Thank you, Dulce, for taking the time and the availability to be here with us to moderate the session. I just want to highlight that usually it's the members of the scientific community that are doing the moderation of the sessions.
Hmm.
But since these were political actors, we thought it might be better to have a journalist who's used to being a bit more strict on allowing them to speak or not, and to make it a bit more disciplined. But in the end, as no one actually has showed up, it's a bit more complicated
Okay. And
to
I'm
do that.
pleasure for that. As you know, public health is one of my love.
I know, Dulce, and thank you so much, and good luck with
Thank
your
you.
new role. I hope it's very successful in your new position.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you so
See
much,
you.
Dulce. See
Thank
you.
you.
See
See
you
you.
soon. So back to me, and I'm sure I could talk a lot about, let's say, public health in Europe, and that would be an interesting topic. But I also don't want to make it any longer than it needs to be. So we, as you know, have a quiz that we're usually having at the end of these 90 minutes webinars. Today it's going to be much shorter, as you can imagine, but we'll start with the quiz in a couple of minutes. I'd like to highlight that you can use the link to access the quiz, and there's two prizes to be won, actually three. So we'll have one prize, which is whoever gets the most points today will win one seat for the dinner and dance in Lisbon. The other prize is going to be drafted among all that have participated in the quiz today, and that's also one seat at the dinner and dance. And there's then the points that you win today at the conference, at the webinar, at the quiz, will be added to a global total that will count towards winning a free registration at the conference in November. So indeed, it's quite a good price. So do take your time to participate in the quiz. I'll just like to highlight something else. We've recently had the European Public Health Week, and the theme of the week was health is a political choice. And that also connects with the choice that all of us will have to make when we vote in the European elections. And therefore, public health is indeed very connected with the policies and the politics that take place at the European level. So all of us have a role to play in that context. So don't overlook that. I know that the public health community is very engaged in this context, but it's never too much to highlight that we need to be more and more involved and trying to provide good evidence that supports good policies and good practices across Europe and across the world. So a big incentive to everyone to share with different to share with the different settings in the different contexts, be it at the European level of the European Parliament, the European Commission, but also at our national level within the different governments. It's very important for us to support public health as a political choice and to make sure that governments take into account what are good public health practices. So, without further ado, I would like to move on to the quiz. I think it's now um, time. I'd also like to highlight that you can add comments on whatever social media that you're watching. So, this webinars are being transmitted on Twitter of the European Public Health Conference, on YouTube of the Portuguese Association of Public Health Promotion, and also on the Facebook of the Portuguese Association of Public Health Doctors, and as well in the LinkedIn page of the European Public Health Conference. So there's a lot of ways that you can watch the webinar and also participate. So now it's time to move on to the quiz. So you can either use the QR code that we're now showing you, or you can use the link here. So it's ahaslides.com/EPHC Lisbon. And it will be the platform that we'll use for the webinar. We would advise you to use a mobile for to answer the quiz, because the questions will show up in real time on your mobile. But eventually, if you're looking at the transmission here at the stream, there will be a slight delay. So I'll give you a couple of minutes so that you can log on, preferably with your mobile, so that you can participate in the quiz. So you can use both the QR code that's shown here and also the link that is also there. In the meantime, just shout out to South Korea. Happy to have one of the participants from South Korea watching the webinar. And I'll also stress that you can interact with the stream using social media. So Daeong King is here in LinkedIn, and he's sent his regards from South Korea. So Daeong Kim, you're welcome to come to Lisbon as well in November to participate in the conference. So let's see how many participants we already have. So there's already 12 participants, and here we can see many of their names. So I'll give only a couple more minutes that people can join the webinar. So let's wait a couple of more minutes. And we see several familiar names of people who actually participated in the previous quizzes. So it's going to be a tough competition to see who's in front. And I'm happy to share that before the 6th webinar, so the next one, we'll share a preliminary ranking of all the participants, and to see how everybody's doing in terms of points, so that people can somehow know where they stand in the classification towards winning a free seat at the conference, a free registration for the conference. So I'll allow for one more minute, so we see more people joining, and then we'll start the quiz. I'll remind you that it's good to use your mobile and to look at the questions in the mobile, because the transmission, the stream, might have some delay. Also, bear in mind that faster answers award more points. So if you're faster, then you're likely to get more points, and of course, faster and with the correct answer, of course. So you're likely to get more points if you answer quickly. So one last minute so that people can join, and then we'll start the quiz. So we have 14 questions, 12 players, and we'll be looking forward to a very competitive questionnaire today. You can also interact with either with the platform, or you can interact with the social media that the stream is using for the transmission. Okay, so one just a few more seconds, and then we'll start with the quiz. Okay, so let's go and begin. So, question number one: what is the role of the European Parliament? Is it legislative, supervisory, and budgetary responsibilities, make monetary policies, manage international trade agreements, or enforce laws in member states? So let's see the answers. Okay, the vast majority of people answered correctly. So let's see who was the fastest. Okay, so we start with Maria Manuel and Hugo in first place. Shortly after Elder, then Rafael, and fifth is Francisco, but all within 6, 7 points. So next question. How often are European Parliament elections held? Is it every 2 years, every 3 years, every 5 years, every 4 years? So let's see the answer. Okay, also most people answered correctly. So it's every 5 years. Let's see what's the next result. So we now have Hugo in front, Elder in second, Rafael third, Maria Manuel in fourth place, and Patricia now showing up in the five first spots. Let's see the next question. So question number 3. Who is the current president of the European Parliament? So is it David Sassoli, Roberta Metsola, Martin Schulz, or Ursula von der Leyen? Okay, let's see the answers. Oh, so the question was who is the current president of the European Parliament? And the correct answer is Roberta Metsola. Most people answered Ursula von der Leyen, who's the president of the Commission. So this might change a lot because we have only 3 answers. So let's see who are the 3 that answered correctly. Some suspense on the result. Okay. So we have Francisco in first place now, and this makes a big difference now, and João in second, and now a big difference for third and following places, because indeed they got awarded almost 100 points for answering correctly. So let's see if the others can recover, or if Francisco and João will have a head-to-head until the end. Okay, next question. What is the 5-year impact factor of the European Journal of Public Health? Data was gathered in 2022. Is it 3.1? Is it 2.8, 4.2, or 19.3? Let's see the answers. Okay, yes, most people answered correctly. So it's 4.2, the 5-year impact factor of the European Journal of Public Health. So let's see what happened in the leaderboard. Okay, so we have João in first, Francisco second, and now Hugo and Maria Manuel are narrowing the distance between the first places. Let's go towards the next question. When was the EPH conference last held in Brussels? So was it 2003? Was it 2015, 2008, or 2013? Which year did the conference take place the last time in Brussels? Let's see the results. And I can tell you that Brussels is one of the few cities where the conference has been held more than once. It was held in Brussels the first time in 2001, and the second time was in 2013. So 6 people answered correctly. And Lisbon in November will become one of those very few cities that have held the conference for the second time. The first one, as I mentioned, was in 2008, and this year is going to be the second one. So let's see how it has changed the standing of the leaderboard. So Francisco is now back in first. João is in second. Narrowly close is Rafael, and Hugo is in fourth place. And Francisco has answered five questions correctly in a row. So he's gaining lead and almost 100 points in front. So let's see how the rest of the quiz goes. So, who was not editor in chief for the European Journal of Public Health? Was it Martin McKee, Walter Ricciardi, Peter Alabek, or Johann Mackenbach? Let's see who was not editor in chief. And most people answered correctly. It was indeed Walter Ricciardi. He was not editor in chief for the European Journal of Public Health. He was indeed president of UFA. So let's see how the results impact the leaderboard. Francisco answered correctly, one more. So he's now at 490 points. Rafael is second in 398. Then João, then Daniela. Daniela is now in the first five as well. Let's see the next question. So, how are the European Public Health Conferences and UFA linked? Is it because the EPH conference was started by UFA? They are not linked at all. The EPH conference established UFA in 92, or they are both based in Brussels. Let's see what's the correct answer. Yes, most people answered correctly. The EPH conference was started by UFA. So let's see the impact in the leaderboard. Francisco, one more question correctly, but the distance between the second one is now narrowing. Rafael is gaining 6 points this question, and João Pinheiro also won 1 point back from the first place from Francisco. Hugo is in fourth place. Let's see how the next question comes up. So we're already halfway through the quiz. What is the motto of the UFA strategy 2020-2025? Is it analysis, advocacy, and action? Is it scientific evidence, well-trained workforce? Is it voicing knowledge, enhancing capacity, or capacity building and research promoting? Okay, time's up. It's curious that we asked this question today because actually today we had a meeting of the sections and members in the morning discussing precisely the next strategy. So the strategy that will start next year. So it's interesting to see what was the strategy for these 5 years and what's going to be the strategy for the future. But indeed, for these 5 years, it's analysis, advocacy, and action. So the AAA strategy. Let's see the results. And one more correct answer for Francisco, and but Rafael is narrowing the distance slowly, gaining now 5 more points. João Pinheiro is third, and Elder is in the fourth place. Let's see the next question. Question number 9. What is the highest authoritative body in UFA? Is it the Executive Council? Is it the Governing Board? Is it the Section Council? Or the International Scientific Committee? Let's see who answered correctly. Only 4 correct answers. So it's indeed the Governing Board that's the highest authoritative body in UFA. Then there's the Executive Council, the Section Council, and also the International Scientific Committee. So let's see how the results are. One more correct answer for Francisco. Now he's a bit further away from João Pinheiro, so now it's more than 100 points distance. João is in second, Rafael is in third, and Elder is in fourth place. Let's see the last questions. There's only 4 more questions to go. How many members or subscribers does Ufanext have? Is it 3,452, 2,599, 998, or 4,130? Let's see the answer. Oh, it's a very high number. It's 4,130. So only three correct answers. Let's see if this shifts something in the leaderboard. Now, one more correct answer for Francisco, and he's now at 800 points. Elder is now in second place, João in third, and Rafael in fourth place. So let's see the next question. Only three more questions to go. What is the correct name for the UFA PHPP section? Is it Public Health Policy on Policies, Public Health Policy and Politics, Public Health and Political Parties, or Public Health of Parliament and Politicians? I guess this is a question of being fast. Let's see the answers. Yes, indeed, it's the Public Health Policy and Politics section. Let's see the leaderboard. One more correct answer from Francisco, and also from Elder is gaining 4 points on Francisco. Rafael is in third, and João is in fourth place. Last two questions. Three questions now. How many section names start with public health? This is a tricky one. Is it 0, 3, 4, or 6? Still 6 seconds if you're counting on the webpage of UFA. How many are there that start with public health? And half of the participants said 4, but in fact 6 participants answered correctly. It's indeed 6. 6 section names start with public health. Let's see if there's an impact on the leaderboard. One more correct answer from Francisco seems to be unstoppable. He's now 200 points in front, and eventually is going to win today because it's not possible to win more than 200 points in the last two questions, I guess. So second place is Rafael, third place is Elder, and João Pinheiro is in fourth place. So let's see. Last two questions. Which modern architectural landmark in Lisbon, designed by Santiago Calatrava, serves as a transportation hub and was built for the 1908 World Exhibition? Is it the Lisbon Cathedral, the Vasco da Gama Tower, the Orient Station, or the Museum of Art, Architecture and Technology? They're all places that you should visit when you're in Lisbon. But indeed, the one that was designed for the exhibition and is now Orient Station, it's both a subway and train station, is indeed the Orient Station. Vasco da Gama Tower was also built nearly at the same time, but it was not designed by Santiago Calatrava. One more correct answer for Francisco and 1,000 points. Francisco is in second, Elder in third, and João Pinheiro in fourth place. And we move on to the last question. Which is the deadline for the abstract submissions for the Lusophone Public Health Conference? So one of the pre-conferences. Is it today, the 10th of June, 16th of June, or the 30th of June? Which is the deadline? Okay, let's see what's the correct answer. Indeed, the correct answer is the 16th of June. The 16th of June will be the deadline for submissions for the Lusophone Public Health Conference. So if you're considering submitting, if you're Lusophone, if you're Portuguese speaking, do not forget to do so by the 16th of June. Eventually, we'll already have the results for the European one, so this might be also a good possibility for you to consider and attending the Lusophone conference prior to the European one. And let's see the final results. Congratulations to Francisco. Indeed, he won. So, Francisco, congratulations on winning one dinner and dance seat. I think that you already have one before. So, eventually, we'll need to see who's second. But because the dinner and dance seats are non transferable, so we'll need to look into the positions in the for the different participants. So congratulations, Francisco, and congratulations to all our 18 participants. So Rafael is in second, Elder in third, João in fourth place. Let me see if I can look at the. No, I can't. Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. So fifth is Hugo, sixth is Diogo, seventh is Diogo, Mirtil in eighth, Catarina in ninth, Patricia in 10th, Maria Manuel in 11th, Beatriz P in 12th, Daniela, then Sofia, Valentina, and then DA and Sarah and João eventually registered but did not participate until the end. Anyway, all of these points are going to be added to your yearly tally. So they'll all count towards the number of points that you will be awarded for you to win the free registration for the conference. So we have one last question for you, and today is a bit of an odd question. Oh, sorry, I'm forgetting to do the draft, and then we have a last question after the draft. So I'll just spin the wheel and see who wins the free entrance to the gala dinner in Lisbon. Let's see. Okay. So DA has won a dinner and dance seat. Congratulations, DA, for participating. Okay. So next, we have one final question for you. Is what word would you use to describe this webinar? And considering that we didn't have any of the political parties, I'm also curious on what you'll like to write. So it was quite an imaginative webinar today. And so people are very kind in what they describe as a word. It was an amazing webinar because it was so short. Eventually, amazing and amazing. So it's both amazing and amazing. Concise, I guess it's interesting. It was interesting gameplay. It was quite different, and indeed no participation. Well, thank you so much for your participation on the webinar today. I'll be looking forward to the next one. It will take place soon. We'll announce it in the usual social media that we already do. But don't miss on participating in the webinars. They'll all be available. The recordings are going to be available on the website of the conference, so you can review them whenever you want. And thank you so much for following us. We hope that the next one will be more, we'll have a bigger participation, and surely we'll have very interesting guests to share their ideas with you. In the meantime, don't forget to register for the conference. Don't forget to take a look at the different pre-conferences that are available. If you're Portuguese speaking, do submit your work for the pre-conference, and we'll be looking forward to receive you to host you in November. I'll stress something that I've done before, which is the fact that we're going to have the Web Summit, which is a massive conference from the digital sector, and not necessarily from the public health sector, but they're roughly 70,000 people will be coming to Lisbon for that conference, for the Web Summit. So accommodation will be on a very high demand. So if you're planning to come to Lisbon, do book your travel and your accommodation in advance, as it will be challenging to find the best options. The Web Summit will take place at the opposite ends of the city. Nevertheless, it's useful that if you can book in advance. We know that hotels are already dealing with very high demand. So it's just a suggestion. If you're planning to come, do book in advance so that you can manage to get good options for accommodation and for travel as well. So nothing more from my side. Thank you all for participating. Indeed, this was a well, quite different or short or concise or amazing webinar, as some of our participants have mentioned. But hopefully the next one will be more have more content for us to share. So all the best. Don't forget to vote in the upcoming elections. It's very important that we all um, vote and share what our views are for Europe. So don't forget to do it over the next few days. See you soon. All the best.